Hey guys, we're here with Jano, otherwise known as Kermode. We just released his new album and wanted to sit down today and talk to him about first the album and then some of his latest adventures and stories, and share some stuff about how we met and get into all that. So how's it going, man? Good to see you.
Yeah, doing super well. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely, man. So yeah, I think we were just chatting about this, and it sounds like, we first connected in 2013, which is, over 3 years ago now, and you placed, I believe, third place in the Aligning Minds remix contest, which is really awesome for this to come full circle and for us to be introduced to your music. And then there was kind of this gap. What was going on during that gap? Tell us more about what that was like.
I think the gap was really, for myself, it was training and getting ready to really be a part of you guys. I know probably around that time, 2013, or whenever it happened, I had heard this, my friend gave me maybe the first Versus and Sonus compilation, or one compilation, and it had Symbionic's remix of Incubus on it, and I fell in love with you guys after that. And at that point I kind of had an idea of quality, and it just became my goal after falling in love with your music more and more to become part of the team. And then I was really lucky to and happy to have placed with the remix contest, but at that point my project was still really small. I was fresh out of school, and I still hadn't really fully sharpened my skills or finished really sat down and branded everything, and really just gotten to a point where I thought I could be up to par with you guys. So the next few years I spent writing my own records, just self-releasing some EPs, releasing on that label, just training, writing with other people, learning new synthesis techniques, and just really getting to a point where when I did have something special, really special, I was ready to approach you guys and think it'd actually be ready.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I know that we touched base over the years, and you did send clips of things you were working on, and I think John and I always try to be really straight up and honest and helpful, and I definitely remember you being okay, I'll be back, I'm going to keep working hard and develop my sound. And I think it was, it's probably been the last year where I noticed a shift in you, where you kind of broke out, you broke out of yourself, you broke out of your shell, and I just started seeing your name in all these different places. And so that, for us, I was dope, he's working hard, he's putting a lot of different parts of the puzzle together. So when you came with those tracks, that was really exciting for us. We really as a label, we really want to work with people from the start and give them coaching, give them feedback on what's going on. But it's ultimately, and this, up to you as the artist to put in the time and develop your skills. And I think what you've been doing with Frequency Quest and the other tutorial and education space, to be doing that and helping other people helps you kind of really get good at what you're trying to do. So that's awesome. So yeah, let's dive into Between Mountain and Moon. I mean, there's a lot of different energies and moments there. There's some really big energy tracks. There's some more mellow, down-tempo stuff. I think for me, that album covers the spectrum of what we as a label are doing. So it's really cool to hear those 12 songs and have it still be really cohesive. And I mean, obviously someone would say Minnesota is a big influence on your type of sound, but I feel you've really found who you are as an artist, and you've had those influences. But so for you, I'll tell you, for me, Haunted is the standout track. I listen to that shit a lot, and it's really powerful, and it's got a mood that a lot of songs don't come anywhere close to hitting. So I mean, tell me a little bit about that one, where that started.
Yeah, that one's a really interesting one. That day, I remember something had happened in my life, or I don't remember the situation, but I remember how I was feeling, and I really felt I had wronged someone in my life, and I was really upset about what I'd done. And I just needed to cope by writing a song for sure. Like hands down, I had to come home and I had to write some music. And I just whipped out my Zoom and I was just like saying things, kind of singing things. I have the worst singing voice ever, but I'm like absolutely atrocious. But I'm in my room like at scratch singing just for fun. And then there was just one point in it that listening back, I just really wanted to loop. I just really liked just this one, like just the haunted thing. It's so simple. It's so like easy to follow. And I ended up just looping it, throwing it to Melodyne, and creating harmonies, and just creating this really synthetic voice out of it. And after that, the track really just wrote itself. Like I ended up writing some piano in the intro. And then once I had that, everything was easy. Like usually that's my songs, once I have the chord progression down, it's really easy to convert that into like just a big stack of basses. And it was really that. It was just stacking walls of sound and turning it from this sad track to more this like aggressive, angry wall of sound.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think the vocals are dope. I think what you did and how you processed them, absolutely like spot on. I mean, that's an easy thing to go too far and an easy thing to like honestly fuck up or just make it sound like a bad rap track. But yours, there's a lot of work done where you shape the melody and, you know, carry that through. And I was like, that's really interesting. So definitely props on that. What else? Do you have any other tracks on there that like are special to you or have any special meaning?
For me, I really like the track Cloud Keeper. I think that's one that's always stood out for me, and I think it's kind of a combination of it covers like the emotive side of things I like. I find it's aggressive bass-wise, I like, and it's kind of a technical flex at the same time where I still got to use some techniques. I find sometimes with the more melodic side of things, I don't get to go as technical as a song like Trinket, for example, and I'm really happy when I get a track when I can kind of do it all and kind of explore all sides of things from melody to bass design to glitching and stuff like that.
Yeah, Trinket is definitely glitched to the max. Like I was listening to that the other day. I was, whoa, those are some edits. Yeah, making Mr. Bill proud. So
yeah,
that's awesome, man. And yeah, and you wrote a track with Spoken Bird. He's absolutely one of the crew and one of the team. I love him. He's definitely got, you know, a very specific, you know, sound. And you know, we actually, I think we first met each other online on Turntable FM, which is sort of where Gravitas really, that's where a lot of people came together originally. Was you know, the Digital Connection, One for All, me, not so much Symbiotic, he would pop in. All sorts of different people, and a lot of Bronze Whale and some of the guys from the Wax Hole, which was a blog that supported us for years, and they're still out there, and so that's cool. Yeah, and for sure. So, you know, for me, it's been exciting because we got to release this, and then I went out and got to go to Shambhala this year, and 2 days or 3 days before the event, I think, if I remember correctly, you got to announce that you were going to play, which was just like icing on the cake for me. So that you played on Saturday, right?
Yeah, I played on Saturday, and yeah, I think I announced it a few days before. It was a really last-minute decision. I had become friends in the past year with Hula and Sarah, who run the Living Room State. And you know, we just talked about Shambhala and just gotten all excited, and they helped me actually get tickets to go there, and we had this really good night together hanging out. And then through this friendship, last minute, someone ended up bailing and couldn't make the stage, and Hula, being as fucking awesome as he is, hits me up. He's like, hey man, so want to play Shambhala? And yeah, I mean, that's it. The rest is history, like, of course. And
God, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, so, you know, I stayed in the artist area. I was there helping Closey and just there to see everybody. And I got to come out there on Saturday afternoon. The sun was out and everybody was at the river hanging out with like Bleep Loop and the originals and just kicking it. And then I kind of lost track of time, may have smoked some weed and was just like just enjoying the sun, and all of a sudden I heard One Thing, Symbiotic, Christina Soto, and I was like, oh, Kermode's on! And like, it was just like, booked it over to the stage, and already you had like a solid crowd of people dancing and just like vibing in the sun, and I was like, oh, dude, this is magic. So yeah, it was so cool. Like the whole crew of the living room stage was sitting up there, and they kept getting on the mic and like giving you all this love and being like, this dude's the shit, he's coming up. And I was like, I was blown away, man. It was really dope.
Yeah, they were super supportive. It was crazy. And then the crowd as well, there were so many friends there, which was so exciting. Like, I mean, anytime going home to Shambhala, I get to see all my friends from DC.
Yeah.
So many people were there. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was at least 400 or 500 people kind of dancing in the main dance area, but then at least 2,000 or 3,000 people along the river just baking in the sun and chilling. And you as a DJ, not so much as a producer, but as a DJ, you like set the mood so well, and the vibe was so right. You did go heavy. You did have that Shambhala sound and was pushing the bass, but it was like right on point. We had talked about it a little the night before, and you're like, trying to pull the right moves and set the right tone, and I definitely think you did it. So as a DJ, I give you 2 thumbs up.
Thanks. Yeah, and it was a nice challenge. I knew going into it was like the middle of the day by the beach, and I know like some tracks off the album, like Haunted, way too banging, would never be appropriate. So it was really fun to get to whip out so many like Gravitas tunes, for example. So I got to like, play so many Friends tunes who I thought would be a little more tasteful for this scenario. And
what you have, like Closey, Of the Trees, you had definitely had the Symbiotic track, One Thing, but
Spoken Birds.
I'll put a link in the comments so people can jam the mix again.
Yeah, Kermode's first time at Shambhala, but definitely not his last. You might get to check him out next year at the living room stage, if you're lucky, right? Yeah, we like this guy. He's all right.
Yeah, man. So what else do you have going on? I mean, I think we should talk about it. I mean, it's about time. I mean, we've got Gravitas Create coming, which is going to be our version of, educational tutorials, sample packs, one-on-one coaching. And, you've been a huge help with that already. And I know we're going to do a sample pack with you. So I'm super excited. And then it seems like you've got all sorts of other projects going on. Tell me what's going on, man. Tell me what.
Yeah, I've got a lot on the go right now. I bit off a little bit more than I could chew this summer, and I've been loving every second of it. Just wrapped up the demo track for the Gravitas Create pack, which was a blast. I got to make this pack with just some of the craziest basses and weird percussion sounds I could try and make, just really going in the more weird neuro-esque bass side of things, because I'm just a sucker for making those. I've been doing a lot of teaching. Like I used to teach at an Ableton school in Vancouver part-time, and after I decided to stop doing that, I've been doing just a lot of teaching online. I feel like I'm finally at the point where I can do that.
Yeah.
I always thought about doing it in the past, but I think you really have to know your shit. People are gonna argue you all the time on YouTube. And it's crazy how many people can argue.
It's putting your balls out there and going, I'm confident in what I'm doing enough to teach someone else. It forces you to have your game face on and really step up. And yeah, like I was saying, I definitely noticed this like big shift. I'd be curious what clicked for you or what, but yeah, I've just like been seeing you everywhere doing all sorts of really great stuff. So
I think it was a bit of a shift. I think it was also a little gradual. It was a lot of training and just like writing tons of music. For the longest time, I was just writing every single day, like pretty much every day. I'd maybe see a friend or two every once in a while, but otherwise writing music, really trying to sharpen my sword and just acquire the skills. And then probably in the past year or maybe a year ago, I put out a record, an EP called New World. And after that, it really resonated with the people that did listen to it. It wasn't many people, but the people I did feel heard it really enjoyed it, and that's how I kind of knew that it was like technically there, had the melodic and harmonic side of things. It was everything I'd wanted in a record, and I knew I was ready to really dive in and kind of finally say like, hey everyone, this is me. And before I think I was more reserved in keeping that in and just training and kind of being scared. I mean, you can't help but be a little scared because, you know, putting out music, you're exposing yourself, you're being incredibly vulnerable. And it took me to this age to really be mature and be vulnerable to put out videos that people can hate me on, or put out songs that people might not like. And yeah, I think it's just finally confident and knowing that it's time to go all in.
That's awesome, man. And yeah, I think I couldn't agree more with that. There are a lot of things you're saying that for me stick out. That just idea of focusing and learning your craft and taking the time and putting in the daily practice on something is so important. Like that, you can't skip that. If you want to be successful, if you want to do things that will impress people, that get people's attention, you're going to have to work hard and put in the time. And, you know, I think I see so many different places in social media, in life, where people, they don't realize that. Even myself, you know, I'm not casting stones, but where you think, you see where you want to go, but then you don't really realize how many steps and how much work it'll take to get actually good or you know, competent at some specific skill. Like I want to do it all. I want to be a video editor and do photography and be a DJ and run a label and run a web design agency. And then the reality starts to hit like, man, there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of things to do. So but yeah, man, huge props on everything. That's really cool that you got to play Shambhala. I mean, was that basically like a dream come true for you?
It really was. Like, I think before I was even of age to go to shows, I used to always watch footage of people play, and being from British Columbia, you always hear of like Bass or Il Gates, you like playing at Shambhala, and I just watch footage, and I would just like, love it. And like before I even had gone, I was in love. And then I think a year ago, or 2 years ago, I went for the first time, and it was like nothing I'd ever experienced before. Yeah, like I think I was 19. It was my first big festival. It was stunning. It was life-changing.
Yeah.
That feeling just kind of like incubated inside of me, and I just couldn't wait to be a part of it and be able to present music to people there. And so, yeah, it was really a dream come true. And I can't wait to come back any year I can.
Yeah, you Canadians are really lucky. That is a fucking amazing festival. I've been around. I've done a lot of different things. I would say probably for me, it's actually a better festival than Burning Man right now. Having just gone for my first time and seen it, I'm like, Shambhala. Burning Man is amazing, you know, and it like your brain explodes like every 3 minutes. Like, oh my God, it's the coolest thing I've ever seen. But it's really expensive to go, and it's really hard to go now. It's really hard to get tickets, and it's this and that. And so having been there a few times, having just gone to Shambhala for the music, first of all, it's organized, it's well done. You have bathrooms, you're not having to bring all your own food and all this other stuff. It's like, damn, that was special. Gravitas had 16 different artists that we've worked with play this year's, and I got to just meet all the crews and everybody involved, and everybody was just awesome, like awesome people. So yeah, I'll probably do that. So
yeah, it's really special. Gravitas people. For me, the highlight of my weekend was Cozy. Like, oh my God.
Absolutely. You were front row rating out, and I was on stage with my camera. We're about to put out a recap video of it, and you're definitely in it going, yeah. Speaking of, check this out. So this is vinyl. This is the first vinyl, and we worked with a company called feedbands.com, and so there's a limited edition. They printed 900. That's a lot, but we only got 100 of them so far. And they have a record club, so it comes with a picture of her, and then the record. And check this shit out. Oh, gorgeous. Like her art and her. Oh man. So like for me, this is a dream come true. For her, obviously a dream come true. And I can't tell you, man, she is going so hard right now. I mean, you obviously know, if anybody's following her career, it's just like, whoa. So I'm managing her, and it's just amazing, man. It's so cool. And
So exciting.
It's so exciting, man. It really is. And she's so authentic and so true to who she is, and not, you know, she's influenced by artists and all that, but I think that's, you know, again, that's like the same thing I see with you, is like you're kind of like, this is who I am and this is what I have to say. And having met you, like just after we put out the album, like we've talked, we've chatted, but I've never been in the same room as you. It's so cool to like hear your music first and sort of like see how that matches up with who you are. And it's really interesting how people's music is such a window into who they are. So yeah. Well, dope, man. Anything else you got going on or are excited about?
Me and my buddy Sam Winter have been working a lot together. That's actually something I want to talk about. I don't think we've ever talked about. Pretty much one of my favorite musicians of all time, and a good friend of mine, Sam Winter. We used to do Frequency Quest together. We used to put out tutorials almost every day. We used to put out like Ableton tools. And maybe in August, I got him to fly out here to Vancouver from Ottawa and move in with me. And we've just been finishing up some projects right now that have been taking our focus. But come September, we're going in like so hard with music. We just finished putting out like spreadsheeting all our releases till April. So we've got like bi-weekly songs coming out, all with Ableton sessions and tools. Like we're going really hard. Yeah, we're gonna each be on each other's download gates with like our third repost SoundCloud channel circulating. We've got good plans.
That's smart, man. Yeah, it's all about the hustle. I love it, dude. Well, I can't wait to hear those projects. Well, cool, man. Well, absolutely great to catch up. You know, we'll cook this video and put it out, and then can't wait to hear what you got. What's next for you, man?
Yeah, wicked. It was good talking to you again.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Cool. Have a good one.